How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it.
My name is Jonathan Gillum.
And this is The Experts. This is Jonathan Gillum, and this is The Experts and the Friday Night Toast. And it's been a long day for me, folks. And turn this music down a little bit. It's been a long day, kind of another one of these where I didn't sleep for 2 days, working on edits for my book. And I'm going to complain about that a little bit. We're going to do the Friday Night Toast. I pretty much covered everything all week. I hear some guy on Newsmax just a second ago talking about how the Mandalay Bay is surrounded with DHS people and something. I'm not seeing anything about that. I have no idea what this guy's talking about. Other than that, there's nothing being said about this investigation. And I don't know. People are writing me now about what we need to talk about. Let's figure it out. I'm tired. It's Friday. many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. All right, so I hosted a show with Bernie Kerik earlier on Newsmax TV. We were out shooting all day on Times Square and back at the studio doing a live hit on the show. Some technical difficulties and stuff, but it's great seeing Bernie again. And so I'm editing my book last night, the final edits, right? The book has already been edited, but now it's formatted. And so the book exists in a format the way it's going to be printed. And this is the way the whole process goes. And I've been keeping you all up to date on how this goes. So I'm working with my editor, and I'm using these little yellow stickies that you can use on a PDF, and it's on the computer, and you can say, okay, attach a note here, and then you type in the note what you want, and then you save it, right? That's what I did all night until 8 o'clock this morning. Then I was like, I got to get some sleep before I got to go to Newsmax. So I sat down and laid down in the bed and tried to go to sleep, and then at 7 o'clock in the morning, it sounded like there was a war zone outside of my door, and it was jackhammers with S's, all kinds of construction going on out there. At 7 in the morning, I thought they had to wait for a little while, so that kept me awake. Finally, I fall asleep. Editor calls me. I'd been asleep for an hour. Those notes, those sticky notes, all the editing I did all night didn't even show up. For some reason, after I saved it and then put it over on my computer, on the other computer to send it, there's no sticky. That's the sticky note. The yellow thing is there, but there's no information on the sticky note. So, technology. So I used to hate printers tremendously. Now, I think I hate sticky notes, which is interesting. These are the computer sticky notes. I completely forgot about this until today. The guy who invented sticky notes, the real sticky notes, we follow each other on LinkedIn. And so I asked him if he wanted to come on the show sometime. He said, yeah. So I need to get him on here. I need to have him on. And he's got a pretty incredible life. He also invented the Super Soaker, which you guys may know about that. So anyway. Yeah, that was very painful. Trust me. So anyway, a long story short, it took me a long time to get home tonight from Newsmax. I got here. I'm just exhausted. I treated myself to a thing of cookies, which made me feel better. And I checked the news. Yeah, I know I've been doing the Newsmax all day, but I checked the news, and really, to tell you the truth, there's not a whole lot going on, except for this is great right here. This is that knucklehead who decided to grab this Make America Great hat off of this guy. I don't know if you all saw that video. So that person may actually get charged with a felony, evidently. And I don't know what that felony is, but for taking somebody's hat. But anyway, hey, listen, you got to be smarter than to do something stupid like that. One thing I do... it looks like Harvey Weinstein is going to he's going to take my advice that I gave him the other night and go away. So he's going to actually take a leave of absence from the company, his company, amid sexual harassment. This says sex harassment, but I'm sure they're saying sexual harassment scandal. So that's great. I think that's a spectacular thing. Whoops. And see, this is what happens when you got a dog that loves to yank cords, and so this one's been yanked out. So that's great. Okay. So as you can see, my mind's all over the place because I'm tired. So let's see here. Harvey Weinstein needs to go away. He's going away. Wish he'd go to jail, go away. That's what he needs to do. The same. Did I tell you guys this? I think I talked about this yesterday. Lisa Bloom, who's Gloria Allred's daughter, who handled all the people against Trump that made accusations against him and nothing came about it. She was handling all those women, saying they're victimized. Oh, they're victimized. Now Harvey Weinstein is actually paying settlements, which means they really were victimized, and she's Harvey Weinstein's attorney. Weird. And what do you think they had on MSNBC today? Were the feminists talking about what Harvey Weinstein has done? No. They were talking about the fact that it's the year anniversary since the video of Trump came out saying that he was going to grab if you were rich, you could grab women in the privates. Honest to goodness, that's what they were talking about. Feminism, as I told you before, is it's a communist subversive group. It's a lie. And they're pretty much proving it there. But, I found this. Let's talk about this for a minute, because I found this on YouTube the other day. It just came up. Let's see if I still have it saved. No, I do not. So let me see if it's on here. I was looking a video up on YouTube, and this link popped up, and I gotta wait for my notes to pop up here, and I could not believe what I was watching. Give it a second. It's got to pop up. Make sure if you don't have your beverage tonight, I'm going to drink this whole freaking thing. I'll probably pass out tired afterwards. I got to take Rico for a walk. Poor little guy's been inside all day. And I'm still waiting on my notes to populate. All right, let's see here. There it is. All right, let me pull this up. Now, this has nothing to do with in the news, but this is a sickening thing, and I don't get it, so I'm going to play it for you here. I know I'm all over the place, but it's Friday, and I'm tired. Let's see here. So, Google supports the Equal Justice Initiative in the fight for racial justice. Now, folks, I hate to ruin the Friday with this, but let me see if this comes up here. I got to brighten it up a little bit. I'm getting better at this now. There he goes. Okay. So, I'm looking for a video on YouTube, and this is a commercial that pops up, right? And so I was kind of taken back by it. And this is the nonsense in our country, and that these for instance, gun rights activists, right? Black Lives Matter, Antifa, all these people are on board together. Harvey Weinstein's on board with these communists. You got most of the mainstream media is on board with the way that these subversive groups work, and they all talk about division. They all talk about how bad it is as compared to the way it was, about you should be ashamed of your country. On Google is a part of this. I'm assuming Facebook as well, because they censor everything that we do in the conservative world on Facebook. Twitter definitely censors. So anyway, I just sat here for a second. I watched this, and I was blown away, not in a good way, but what this video is saying in this, whatever it is, Equal Justice Initiative. Must be a Clinton thing. Anyway, watch this for a second. It's going to blow your mind. And remember, this is stuff that people actually believe. They believe that they're the victimized and blah, blah, blah. Watch.
I don't believe we're free in America. I think we're haunted by our history of racial inequality. We're burdened by this legacy created by slavery.
Now, right off the bat, that is the most victimization or victimized mentality I've ever heard. I know, guys, I should have Jake Zwig on here sometime. Jake Zwig's got dark skin. I guarantee Jake Zwig's never been victimized in his life. Jake Zwig is a winner. Jake Zwig is somebody he's a football coach now, and he's on that show, Dude, You're Screwed, on the Discovery Channel. And Jake was a nightmare when he was my class leader in BUDS and SEAL training. Nobody's oppressing Jake Zwig. There was a Blue Angels pilot that had dark skin. There's been doctors. I know a neurosurgeon who has dark skin. Nobody's oppressing him. Listen to the beginning of this again. This is such a victim mentality. It's sick. And it is not representative of the way this country is. Let me just play this first part.
I don't believe we're free in America.
You don't believe we're free in America? Really? Look, I've had people who don't like me. I talked about my old boss, Jeff Ringel, the other day, who was the biggest freaking jerk you could ever work for. I got out of the FBI largely in part because that guy was that bad. And he helped me see that there's a whole nother world that I could do so much more and spread so much more knowledge to the rest of the citizenry than sit behind a desk in the FBI. I was free to do that. If you're oppressed, you're free to go around it and to achieve and to strive for greatness. This is a victim mentality.
I think we're haunted by our history of racial inequality.
I'm not haunted by that. In fact, I look at the steps that this country had to take as no different than anybody else that struggles to go from, in poverty or oppression to freedom. There's always going to be a struggle to get to that point because people will want to oppress you. They'll want to take your freedom away. And at that day and age when this country was started, things were just different. I don't know what this person, where they get this stuff from.
By our history of racial inequality. We're burdened by this legacy created by slavery and lynching and segregation. And whether you're born in 2017 or 1930, you are affected by the environment that we have created by being silent.
What is this? I don't. This is literally something that is being the Equal Justice Initiative is being pushed out by Google, right? If you want to be something in this world now, you can be it. It doesn't matter. You may have a tougher time if you're transgender, for instance, and you're trying to do something in the corporate world and people aren't comfortable with that. You may have to struggle with that. Okay, you may have to struggle. But it doesn't mean you have that it can't be done. Same thing with anything else. You may have dark skin. There may be people out there that are racist or bigots. There may be men out there, I know that there's men out there, Harvey Weinstein, that don't respect women and are sexual predators, megalomaniacs. You're not oppressed. You're free. You drive around that person. That's what I don't get about this and this mentality. What is this? Let's go on.
I think slavery ended in 1865. I think it evolved.
So he's saying that slavery did not end, that slavery has evolved. Well, listen, I agree with him there. We're all slaves to the ruling class in this country. We're all slaves to those who hold the information over our heads, which has always been the case throughout history. I'm sure the people who first figured out that how to predict when an eclipse was going to happen, they figured out they could use that against people. I don't doubt that at all. Yeah, slavery has evolved to the point where the United States citizenry is enslaved to the ruling class. Yeah, okay, so I agree with him there, but that's not what he means.
We had mobs of thousands of people gathering in courthouse yards, in fields, and doing horrific things to people, and we haven't done anything to acknowledge that.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. We fought the Civil War. We have passed laws. We recognize on a daily basis that racism is wrong, bigotry is wrong, that neo-Nazis are weirdos. We've realized that.
It is American history, and for us to recover from that violence, from that terrorism, we all have to know it, and we have to talk about it.
Okay. First of all, He uses the word terrorism because he wants to milk that in with all this other stuff. The fact is, slavery was not, by definition, terrorism. It was, these people were not being enslaved for a political aim, using force and intimidation. It was the way the world was. This person is richer. This person comes from a different ruling class. They're going to have people that do what they want them to do. They're going to enslave them. They're going to be bought and sold like animals. Yes, that's the way the world was. And it happened to every race and gender throughout history. But for some reason, and I think I know why, people like this can't seem to let go of this. They can't let go of it and move forward. They want to stay in the past. They want to show and create links to that racial past so that they can make you feel bad, so that they can make other people feel like they should, not that they make those other people feel like they can be great. They want to make them feel like they should be higher than these other people because they were oppressed, and so they deserve to be higher. And that's a victim mentality. I deserve this. Give it to me. Listen, you in this world, unless somebody gives you money and gives you status, you have to work for it. It's not just going to come to you.
This project in particular, it's a project about tearing down those boundaries.
Lynching in
Google
America
has a kind of expertise, a kind of knowledge about information, and they've been able to take what we know about lynching and what we have heard from the families who we have spent time with and make that knowledge accessible to a lot more people. I think it will compel us to think differently about what we need to do to correct the past, to address the past, but also how we make a better future.
Look, we should never forget our past. That's why I don't believe in tearing down these statues. We should never forget our past. But the way you build the future is not by leaning on the past. You have to remember the past. You have to learn from the past. And then you have to drive forward with the lessons that you've learned. But leaning on the past and victimizing, getting people into the victim mentality is not a way that you fix anything. You don't fix any of that. I grew up extremely poor. I know other people who grew up poor. I knew people who were minorities. I mean, all successful because they had a vision and they strove to achieve it. Failure or not, they kept going. They had a need not to quit. Not a need to bring up again and again the history of ancestors that were oppressed, truly oppressed, not free. That doesn't help anybody out now. We can give them recognition, but what this guy's saying, it's not going to change the way people's minds are. If you make them feel oppressed, they will start to think they're oppressed, and eventually they will act as though they're oppressed. Whereas you can do the opposite. You can look at somebody and say, you are somebody. You are a powerful human being. You were especially created by the God of all universe. He picked you. He created you. He wanted you to be alive. He breathed the breath of life into you specifically. He knows every hair on your head. He knows every skin cell in your body, every drop of blood, every thought that goes through your mind, the future what is going to unfold for you. He knows it all, and he picked you. You. This has nothing to do with the plan that God has for you. This has nothing to do with whether people are being oppressed. It has to do with dragging people back down into the victim mentality. That's what this is about. Lynching in America. Yeah. And that is Google, folks. That's Google that is sponsoring that. Now, that has nothing to do with what's in the media today. However, I saw that last night, and it just burns my hide because people fall for that. And it's bad. It's real bad. It's bad. There you go. Should I get the dog and bring him over here so we can do this toast before I fall asleep on air? And then I'll finish up talking about this. Thumbs up, hearts. Should I get the dog? I got to wake him up. All right, let me grab him. Hold on. Come here, dog. Wake up. People want to see you. Boom. Does that almost fall down? Okay. How about this? How about you stand up right there? Just stay right there for a second. Stay. All right? Just stay right there. See, he's old. And he's going to want to jump. I don't trust him up there. Back in the day, he'd stand there proud. Now he might jump off. Okay, stand right there. There you go. All right, we're back on. All right, let me move this. You stand right here. Show everybody you just got a bath, so you're nice and clean. Right? Good Friday. Long week. We're going to go for a long walk. What do you think? You never know this dog's 17. Now he looks a little old in the video, but all right, buddy. Why don't we do this? Let's go to the Truth Zone. I know it's a kind of a crappy show tonight, but we'll close it out and everybody can have a good weekend. Why don't you sit down there for a minute, can you? Can you sit down? Sit down. There you go. All right. What do you think? He's never sat up here before. You all right? You handling it okay? Just checking it out. He's usually the under the table producer. All right, come here. All right. Let's go to the Truth Zone, dog. I'm going to put you down. There you go. All right. This is just like a day in the life of Jonathan here and his dog. So let's go to the Truth Zone. How many of you are prepared for an incident like this? Get my new book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival, and I will teach you to think like an attacker so you can truly defend yourself. Don't just react, act. Available for pre-order now on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Sheep No More. Get it. All right. He's just moseying on away now. Well, it was a long week. I still got a lot of work to do. I've got to finish these edits and then get started on recording the audio book for the truckers out there so you guys can have an audio book. I may or may not do that right here in this studio. We'll figure that out. But I do want to say this. It's been an honor to speak to all the people that we've had watching this show this week. Massive views. I'm sure in large part that has to do with the shows that I've been on. It was an honor to be on Bill O'Reilly's podcast after 2 years to the day when I was first on his show on Fox News. And unfortunately, the beginning of this week, we had this horrific attack in Vegas. But what's come out of this is lessons that can be learned. We need to evolve. Our tactics need to evolve. Police need to start forward thinking where and when and how and why attacks can happen and who may carry them out, it can be done. It's in my book, Sheep No More. You keep seeing what this whole thing's about right there with my big head up there. The fact is, we need to evolve in our tactics. And American citizens need to evolve in their tactics as well. You can also look at the world and determine who would attack you. Why would they want to attack you? Is it a petty criminal? Is it somebody who is a terrorist or a madman or whatever this guy was? Where would it happen? When would it happen? And how would it be carried out? You have the ability to figure that out. Don't be a victim like this guy in the video. Don't get that mentality. Be like the guy there in Vegas, the veteran who took that truck and stole that truck and went and started picking people up and taking them to the hospital. Be like the first responders that were there and set up a triage even though gunfire was still going, or the cops that moved towards that room, or the security guard whose name just happened to be Jesus. That's Jesus in English. Way to go, my friend. Not only did he get shot when he went up there to see what was going on, he then directed law enforcement and stayed with him until they made him leave because he'd been shot in the leg. What you don't want to do is show up to one of these events and get fallen down drunk if you're going to one this weekend. Have a buzz, but keep your mind about you. Plan. Look at the venue. Figure it out. It's easy to look and say, this could be where a shooter could come from. I don't want to get all the... Why do you have to be that close to these performers? It's not going to do you any good. We get up close to Jason Aldean. He's a great singer. You don't have to be right next to him where everybody's crammed in there. Be safe. So let's raise a toast. Let's raise a toast to those Americans that lost their lives. And let's raise a toast to the first responders that saved lives. And let's raise a toast to the veterans who made a huge difference just being there. And here's to you, Jesus, the Jesus in heaven and the Jesus in Vegas. God bless you, brother. May we all have that spirit. I'm Jonathan Gillum. That was Rico. This is The Experts. And remember, wherever you see this face that's getting ready to drink this beer, wherever I'm talking, and you get your drink up, because we're going to do this now, the truth has arrived. Have a great weekend. I got the hiccups. Round 2. Let's do it. Lift them up. Thank you all for being here this week. Sorry for the lame show today. One team, one fight. And don't forget, if you haven't pre-ordered the book, get the book, Sheep No More, The Art of Awareness and Attack Survival. We're going to try to release this book early. We're trying. We'll see if we can get it done. If not, it'll be out December 12th. If we can get it early, it'll be done early. Right now, you can pre-order the book, you can pre-order the Kindle, and pretty soon, probably after this week, you'll be able to pre-order the audio version of the book. It doesn't matter how you get it, what form you get it. If you get it and you apply the techniques that are in there that I created using the knowledge that I gained from unconventional warfare and the SEAL teams and from the defender mindset in the FBI, you will not end up being a victim. For those of you that want to donate to the GoFundMe page, we got no donations this week, so the show takes a huge hit when that happens. We've been asking, or I've been asking, right there it is, come scrolling across the screen, $50. If you can afford $50 a month to put into this show will continue to go, and I'm going to get you a book right here, signed. $50 gets you a signed book, and $50, if everybody that follows this show donates $50, you will see a massive difference in the technology of this show and the guests that we get on, and it will continue to grow. The show is growing. You're growing. We're growing. The page that used to be Friends of Jonathan T. Gilliam is now Dialogue and Unity. Go over there if you want to continue the discussion. But as for me and Rico, we're out of here. I got to go do some more editing, take him for a walk, have another beer. The truth has arrived.